In the last video, we left off at Magic Kingdom. This morning, we wake up to Dan making his incredible breakfast.
Hello.
One of the perks at staying at the Kidani Village is the animals. So while breakfast was cooking, I took these shots. It's amazing how close they come, right to the windows. Today will be an Epcot day, but before we enter the gates, Ryan, Dan, and I decide to take the monorail and do the Epcot loop. Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, otherwise known as Epcot, opened on October 1st, 1982. It was the second of 4 theme parks built at Walt Disney World. It's 305 acres, more than twice the size of Magic Kingdom. Epcot is dedicated to the celebration of human achievement, namely technology, innovation, and international culture. It is often referred to as a permanent World's Fair. Epcot includes an urban city center, residential areas, industrial areas, schools, and a series of mass transportation systems that would connect the community. The newly designed park, featuring 2 sections, Future World and World Showcase, opened as Epcot Center in 1982, and in 1994, the park was renamed to Epcot. As you can see, renovations are still ongoing. These were to be completed by the Epcot's 25th anniversary, but due to the pandemic, once again, things were delayed. Here is a fun photo pass shot with their 360-degree camera. Made for a pretty fun photo, don't you think? After we were done with our entrance photos, we went to Spaceship Earth, otherwise known as the Big Golf Ball, and then headed over to the seas with Nemo and friends. After the seas, we went on a few more attractions, and we were lucky to be there during the time of Epcot's Food and Wine Festival, as they had booths all over the place with different types of food. After our snack, we headed over to Mission Space, where only Dan and I took the Orange Adventure, the most intense. It was crazy, but Dan, as the pilot, got us back safe and sound. Next on the list was Disney's Skyliner. No, I think we can all go in this, can't we? Disney's Skyliner is a gondola lift system at Walt Disney World in Bay Lake, Florida. It opened September 29, 2019, with 5 stations located at resorts and theme parks. Each gondola cabin can hold up to 10 guests, or up to 6 if there is a wheelchair or stroller. Guests sit on twin, inward-facing wooden benches. The Skyliner travels to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Art of Animation, and Pop Century hotels, and the Caribbean Beach and Riviera resorts. It is an amazing and comfy way to travel through Walt Disney World, and it's basically free. Here comes the 50th anniversary cabin. My issue with this attraction is coming in for a landing. They come in hot and get super close. It's nerve-wracking. Not good.
That's how you drive. What are you talking about?
I just don't get that close. I don't even want to look. Oh, come on. Look at that. Look at that. That's nuts. That's not right. That's not even a foot. Ironically, on one of our gondolas, we were in cabin 1. Arriving back in Epcot, we head to the Space 220 restaurant, which just opened. We had dinner reservations, and with Princess Joanna in the lead, we check into the spaceport and head to the lounge. We received our boarding pass and waited for further instructions.
Technology that exists today that would take the place of a booster rocket getting you to the stratosphere, which is the most dangerous part of space travel. This elevator is actually tethered to Orlando here. It will take you 220 miles into the stratosphere, and as you'll see, you'll experience that whole thing, and then same thing coming back. So, looks like we've got this elevator here.
SV2, you are clear to launch. Initiating in 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
You're riding aboard the Mark V Stellarator, the latest in space elevator design and technology. Today, you'll have a spectacular view of Florida and the eastern seaboard. Enjoy the ride. I'll be back in a bit with more.
Space 220 takes guests on a culinary journey into the stars. As you enter the space elevator on a 220-mile, 10,000-mile-per-hour journey up to the space station. This is where you can enjoy fine dining with panoramic day and night views of Earth through the station viewports, or windows. The restaurant itself contains several Easter eggs. While on the space elevator, you can see Spaceship Earth. The rotating gardens aboard the Centauri space station might reference the rotating spacecraft room from Horizons, an attraction that previously took up the pavilion where the Space 220 is now located. Occasionally, the International Space Training Center's X-2 Deep Space Shuttle from the attraction Mission Space is visible from the windows passing by the restaurant. Two of the astronauts visible from outside the windows can be seen fighting with lightsabers from Star Wars. Another can be seen playing with a toy X-Wing fighter. The Stellarator might be a modern retry of Disney's old Rocket to the Moon attraction in Disneyland, which was said to take guests to the moon and back to Earth in a similar manner. Here is the nod back to Horizons, which previously occupied this space. As you enter the restaurant, the space station viewports give you spectacular views of Spaceship Earth. Once seated, we gaze out the viewports for some amazing sights. We ordered up some space cocktails, sat back, and enjoyed the scenery and atmosphere. That looks like our snowflake. No. Here is the nod to Star Wars. We have one astronaut with a lightsaber. Dinner was surprisingly good. The meals were excellent, as well as the dessert. After dinner, it's time to head back to Spaceship Earth.
Your journey back to Epcot will be a smooth and quick one today, so enjoy the ride.
Dan, Ryan, and I headed over to Test Track,
challenging weather and surface conditions.
Monitoring road surface.
and the girls headed off to one of their many shopping adventures.
Connecting to OnStar. SIM car performance data acquired.
Test Track is a high-speed slot car type ride on the eastern side of Future World. The ride is simulated excursion through the rigorous testing procedures that General Motors uses to evaluate its concept cars.
Capability test results displayed and verified.
Originally, guests rode in test vehicles in a GM testing facility through a series of assessments to illustrate how automobile prototype evaluations were conducted. The highlight of the attraction is a speed trial on a track around the exterior of the building at a top speed of 64.9 miles per hour, making it the fastest Disney theme park attraction ever built. Guests designed their own cars in the Chevrolet Design Studio by choosing a body, engine, and suspension type, and you even get to pick your own paint color. You then board the sim car and are taken through the digital testing ground of the sim track. Throughout the ride, guests see how their designs performed in each test. After the ride, the guests see how their car did overall. At the end of the attraction, you conveniently get to walk through a showroom of all the new Chevys. Genius. The next morning, we head off early to Disney's Animal Kingdom. We got there at the road drop as to get into the line as quick as possible for the Flight of Passage ride in Pandora. I think it may have panned off. All this walking we've been doing is the line in the ride queue.
Through the test center where the avatars are.
As Disney does, the attention to detail in the ride queue is absolutely phenomenal. Avatar Flight of Passage in Pandora is a 3D flying simulator attraction. It allows guests to take flight on a native mountain banshee and soar across the landscape of Pandora. The Flight of Passage was an amazing ride. Then next we headed on to the Navi River journey for a boat ride through Pandora. The Navi River journey is a dark ride attraction that takes guests through the Kazapan River of Pandora. The Navi River journey features Disney's most advanced auto animatronics to date. zip out of Pandora and over to the Kilimanjaro African Safari Tour.
Up on the left, we should get a pretty great view of this black rhino here in a moment. The animals can reach up to about 3,000 pounds, which is roughly the size of a small car. A little bit smaller than the white rhino. We'll see if we can make some comparisons up ahead. Now, if you look closely at the lip of the rhino, you can see it is a triangular shape. That's because they are browsing animals. That's because as the male bongos age, they'll start to turn that darker brown color. So that's how we know that he is the oldest. I can see these giraffes are pretty busy out there. Process their blood through those horns to keep them cool. Now, the sable antelope might look a little familiar if you've spent some time in the village, as they are the emblem animal of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Perhaps their most defining feature is that amazing trunk that can have up to 40,000 muscles in it. That's about 5 times the amount of muscles that we have in our entire body. And their parents will provide them with something called crop milk until they're old enough to eat on their own. Then they'll start to feed on brine shrimp. Here's what is happening out there. Now down in front, you can find their most famous resident. Beautiful male lion up there in front, and a female next to him. Male lions have some pretty impressive manes that can weigh up to 40 pounds, which makes it really hard for them to hunt. The strong females
In case you couldn't see the lions in the video, here's a snap. After the Kilimanjaro Safari, we went on the walking trails through Africa. See the baby underneath?
Oh, yeah.
We had a very nice lunch at Tiffin's. Thank you. We then headed over to a celebration of Festival of the Lion King. Boy, what a title. The show was pretty amazing, although there was a lot of singing and dancing. Hey Deb, you like the show? Yeah, I thought so. We walked through Harambe Village and headed toward Expedition Everest.
see the Yeti? He was right there at the end. Oh.
As we were walking through Harambe Village, we saw them testing the new Disney Kite Tail show. By the looks of things, more testing is needed. Ryan and I headed over to ride the attraction Dinosaur, and then we skedaddled out of Animal Kingdom and off we went to Disney Springs for a sunset dinner. Next to our restaurant was a boat ramp, and for a very small fortune, you can take the Amphicar guided tour. The attraction lasts about 20 minutes around Lake Buena Vista. These little Italian vintage amphibious vehicles are extremely rare and can drive on land or on water. Our sunset dinner at the Boathouse in Disney Springs was amazing. From our table, we even got to see an exploding volcano. Hey Deb, what'd you think of dinner? Yeah, I thought so. Thank you for joining me once again on my cross-country road trip. Love you, Mom.